Hi, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Scott Gagliardi here with your First Alert Weather Extra. On this Friday morning, we have a good deal of fog out there for most of the state, but right now that's what we're seeing. Eventually, conditions will improve. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds later on this morning, and then the chance exists for a shower, maybe a rumble of thunder later on this afternoon. It's not a big deal. It doesn't impact everybody. It's very isolated in nature, but what we're going to see for tomorrow, at least throughout the overnight hours and to start our Saturday, are some bigger impacts. That's our First Alert Weather Day. Let's get straight to the maps, though, and take a look at Old Saybrook. Notice, if you've been following us this morning, much better visibility than what we saw so far and continues to move on. Torrington, noticing some blue out there, so some nice changes farther towards the north and the west, but still a good deal of cloud cover. Bradley, still holding on to that fog. Temperature 60 degrees, a light breeze out of the south at 6. New Haven, 63 degrees. It's on the muggier side as well with all that moisture out there. We're seeing it in the form of fog. So makes sense that we still are seeing that out there, considering that the wind speeds, once those pick up a bit, that will help to really get rid of the fog, and that sun, as it gets higher in the sky, will help to evaporate any of the fog that we're seeing out there. Visibility, not great, but much improved from where it was just a half hour ago. Plenty of areas were down to about a mile or less, and now we're seeing those visibility numbers improve. Wind speeds, they're becoming more south and southwesterly, 5 to about 10 miles per hour, and that will help to mix up the atmosphere a bit and help get rid of this fog. First Alert Live Radar scans the state completely dry. We're tracking a few light showers out towards the west, but they've really been struggling to make it anywhere even near Connecticut. That will change, though, later on this afternoon as we watch more of the peak heating of the day type showers. So you'll start to see those puffy cumulus clouds. Eventually, those continue to build. And, yeah, a couple showers expected later on today. I'll show you that in just a minute on First Alert Futurecast. But this morning, it's a mild morning, low 60s. For just about everybody, the exception being Groton, where you're still held back to about 59 degrees. But what we see coming in later on this afternoon, our temperatures climbing well up into the 70s. So finally a day at or even possibly above average. Average this time of year is in the mid-70s, about 75 degrees in the Hartford area. Here's your dew points. Notice how close they are to your temperature. So we have, again, no surprise that we see that fog out there. You get temperatures right next to our dew point. Moisture no more can really be held at certain temperatures. So you start to see it in the form of that fog. But once our temperatures climb, that air will be allowed to hold a bit more moisture, and we won't see that fog anymore, but we'll still see the clouds out there. Eventually, as mentioned, even a few showers. Your dew point trend, you'll feel it today, even through tomorrow. Sunday, Monday, though, even Tuesday, just fine before that humidity begins to creep back into our forecast by Wednesday and on Thursday. And by then, by the middle part of next week, we're talking mild temperatures. Let's actually back that up for a minute. I want to show you what we can expect, or what we're seeing farther towards the west, because out towards Kentucky, that is where our next storm system is beginning to make its journey towards Connecticut. As it does get closer, we'll end up seeing another area of low pressure, say, head up just to the west of Connecticut. That puts us on the east side of an area of low pressure, which brings us milder temperatures, but also periods of heavy rain. And that rain off towards the south of New Jersey will likely stay there. But as mentioned, in between, notice that clearing through Pennsylvania. Eventually, we'll see a few pop-up showers later on this afternoon. But our First Alert Weather Day, not for today, mainly late tonight and through tomorrow, at least the first half of the day. Periods of rain, certainly some of which is heavy at times. And then latest indications are a decent lull in the action. So much so that we might actually even see some rays of sunshine late morning and throughout part of the afternoon before more rain. And at that point, even maybe a few thunderstorms begins to come into the forecast and into the picture, say by late afternoon and into the evening. So if you have outdoor plans in the morning, those will certainly be likely washed out. But once you get towards 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, if you have maybe a birthday party or any graduation plans or maybe some prom pictures, yeah, you're going to be doing okay. It's a tough forecast. The threat for showers is not zero at all throughout the day tomorrow, but it's very low late morning and early afternoon. It begins to creep up a little bit towards the end of the day, but even then, not entirely sold on it. We'll show you first alert Futurecast just a second. Want to give you the idea of where the excessive rainfall is, right? Forecast anyway. So notice the yellow shading. That's a 2 out of 4. That's to the west of Connecticut and New York, parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But level 1, that's here locally. It's for tonight, and it includes Litchfield County, Hartford, most of Hartford County, parts of Middlesex, New Haven, and Fairfield County. So the threat exists. We're not forecasting or expecting any flooding rain, but some ponding on the roadways for sure. Once again, that's late tonight into tomorrow morning. Any flood watches, those are also out towards the west in that green shading there. So the heaviest rain likely staying to the west of Connecticut. First alert Futurecast, though. Let's show you what we can expect throughout the day today, because later on this morning, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. And then by, let's say, mid to late afternoon, a few of these showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Anytime after, say, 2 p.m., that's when we can expect those here locally. They won't amount to much, but if you have plans, we know the Memorial Day Parade in Cromwell's on, and the yard goats are playing, so just keep the umbrella nearby. It certainly is not a widespread issue, but notice that heaviest rain really begins to come into the state, say by 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Here's 3 a.m., and it sticks with us, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m., Here's 8 o'clock, still raining for parts of the state, and it's moderate to even heavy at times. Once we get towards the late morning hours and noon, that rain definitely begins to lighten up a bit. Let's take you back to, say, 1, 2 o'clock. Because as much as it shows a few showers possible, that's very low. That's a 20% or less chance. And then, we're going to see some breaks in the clouds. So while not in any way an entirely dry day, it's not a washout. You'll get to be able to do some activities outside midday. But notice what happens as we approach the evening hours. Once again, some of those showers return. This will be with a cold front that makes its way through the state. So early morning, even through mid-morning, and then once again in the evening and at night, rain is an issue. But midday, if you have plans, just keep an eye. Keep the First Alert Weather app handy, because that is an excellent resource for a day like tomorrow when you'll be tracking those storms and showers to get you a good idea of where things stand throughout the day. By Sunday, we'll start off the day with a few clouds, but improving conditions for June 1st. Very excited about the rest of the day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, beyond. Looks great out there. As far as your model comparison, remember yesterday we had that yellow shading, even some red shadings for parts of Connecticut, according to the American model. Well, today that's lifted off towards the north, and even with the European model, heaviest rain to the west of Connecticut. So here locally, we're forecasting, say, up to maybe 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch in some of the heaviest pockets of rain. But, it's not looking like an all-day washout. That would have given us that 1 to 2 inch range if we saw the rain all day. We're seeing about, say, half a day of rain, morning, and then again at night. So getting about half of the rain initially forecasted. But your wind gust trend, this is for tomorrow. It will be a breezy day, especially mid-afternoon, looking at those winds gusting anywhere from 10 to 20, in some cases 25 miles per hour. Sunday is on the breezier side as well. But fast forward to next week. Let's just get to June, because I have not been a fan of the weather in May whatsoever, especially last week when it was below average for like 9 days. Awful. Well, that's a thing of the past, because here's Monday. We'll make some improvements, looking at those lower to even middle 70s. Tuesday, mid to upper 70s, maybe near 80 in a few towns. And check out Wednesday. I mean, we jump right into summer. Low to even middle 80s, and some of these indications are a little bit warmer than that. And that's why I'm not going to show you Thursday, because that wants to show temperatures near 90. But right now, we're forecasting 80s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Of course, this time of year, you have the cooler temperatures in the Sound. So you see those 70s right along the immediate shoreline through Middlesex and New London County. But if you like the warmth and you're so ready for it, we haven't seen it in what feels like a month. I think actually the last time we saw 80s was the beginning of May. So get ready, because the warmth is on the way. And as mentioned, there will be a touch of humidity with some of that warmth next week as well. Forecast highs today at or just above average. An isolated afternoon shower or storm. Very isolated, but just keep the umbrella nearby. If you haven't headed out to work yet, maybe just keep the umbrella in the back seat, or if it's already in your car, like it is in mine, you might need to use it later on today. Temperatures, though, pretty good out there. 70s for everybody. The exception being the immediate southeastern shoreline, but still a nice day there. Upper 60s once all this fog burns off. Your first alert 7-day forecast tomorrow, that morning rain. But once again, the afternoon hours feature that break in the action. Then the possibility exists for a few more showers and maybe a storm later in the evening and at night. It's the last day of May. We will say goodbye to it very easily. Sunday, June 1st. It's a bit breezy. Temperatures near 70. Mid-70s on Monday, and look at those 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but as mentioned, those 80s, those could be a little bit underdone. Showers, maybe on Thursday. Some of the latest data wants to push that closer to Friday and maybe into next weekend, which once again keeps our weekend rain trend going, but we'll see. That's a ways out. Shoreline high temperatures, 70s expected for the next 7 days, but those 70s next week for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they're going to feel nice out there as they will be a bit above average for the shoreline communities. All right, guys, have a great day, and thanks for watching. Keep the umbrella nearby for today, and the First Alert Weather app handy for storm and rain tracking for tomorrow. Have a great day.